Hello, everybody, and welcome to the stream. We are returning back from a bit of struggle with the terminal, with doing some code and things with the Raspberry Pi. So hopefully we'll get it right this time. I've spent the last few hours tinkering. I think I got it. So welcome to the stream. If you haven't already, please follow me on Instagram, follow me on Twitter, follow me here on Twitch, or if you're watching later on YouTube, follow me on YouTube, Twitch. Appreciate all the follows. Encourages me to keep doing these kind of things. Cool. So, where do we leave off? A few hours ago, came in real confident. Thought we'd, upload a little bit of code, do a little bit of terminal, a little bit of SSH, and then things would just be done. 2 hours later, kind of gave up and was like, need to take a break. Not the most interesting stream. Need to pause. So, I got things working. And we're going to try and step forward and, get things working. So, what do we got? If I tilt the screen down, let's switch over to video only. So what we got here, where we left off last time, we had a case, we had a screen. We don't need that for this little bit. We have the Raspberry Pi. We have it hooked up with an HDMI cable to a camera capture card. And basically what I can do is I can take this guy and I can plug it into my computer and we'll be able to see what's on the Raspberry Pi. Yeah. So, where to go from here? So to give props, much respect, a lot of love to people that write articles, specifically Gus. Today, it's for Gus. Much appreciated that he wrote up this article on Raspberry Pi kiosk using Chromium. You can check it out at pimylifeup.com/raspberry-pi-kiosk. So basically, I just followed these steps one by one. So basically the steps, clear out a bunch of stuff, basically running all these commands in a row on my Raspberry Pi. I hooked it up to my keyboard and my mouse and my monitor so that I could kind of get the full desktop experience in the Raspberry Pi. Ran the sudo apt get update, sudo apt get upgrade, installed these tools, ran this command Raspberry Pi config so that I could make it available. Basically what this setting does, it lets it log in without being prompted for a password. And then we created this kiosk.sh script, which he walks you through line by line, all the different steps. And then at the end, he outputs the full text. And basically the big bit of interest here is this line here where you can specify the web pages that you want to show up. So basically I deleted these two. I put in google.com myself as kind of like a proof that it works. One other thing you want to do when you when you enter the terminal in the Raspberry Pi kiosk script, right here. When you sudo raspi config, you want to make sure that you enable SSH, and that lets you kind of remotely connect to your device without needing a screen. I have a screen, but it's small, and I just wanted to display information. I don't want to actually be using the screen to run commands and things. And once I put it in a box, I just want to be able to log into it remotely. So make sure you enable SSH. And the last thing is to set up a service, which makes it a kiosk service. Copying this code, and then when you turn it on, it'll boot directly into Chrome. So if I take my capture card, plug it into my computer, and give me one moment. Cool. So, just gotta figure out a good spot to put this. All right. So what you see in the top right corner of my screen right now is the Raspberry Pi connected to that capture card. So the Raspberry Pi is outputting through this HDMI cable. I have a little camera, a little capture card, which lets me then use the output of the Raspberry Pi and display it on the screen here. Pretty cool device, worth checking out. So if we SSH into the Raspberry Pi, and I got the IP address. One other thing, if you do ifconfig in the Raspberry Pi, let me bring my terminal over to the left side so y'all can see it. If I do ifconfig in the Raspberry Pi, it'll give me the IP address. You want to make sure you do that before you actually disconnect it and put it in a little box. So if we SSH in, and I know that my address is 192.168.1.173. Cool. So what I was talking about with ifconfig, if I type ifconfig now, did I not SSH? Oh, it didn't let me in. It's possible that someone is doing something nasty. No. Oh, joy. Can I not SSH in anymore? Great. Okay, guess we're going to copy this area and go to Google. Okay, on the Mac, you need to run this. Okay, and then I should be able to connect. Interesting. Okay. All right, so we are now SSH'd in, and now I can do ifconfig. And this is where I originally got that IP address from. So when you're connected with monitor, keyboard, mouse, you can get that IP address, and then you can SSH in. The default username and password is Pi and Raspberry, so when I logged in with username Pi, here I'm typing in Raspberry, and now I'm logged in. So next step, if I do sudo reboot, now you'll watch top right corner, the screen that is Google, my Raspberry Pi, go blank. Why isn't that going blank? Okay, so maybe the screen got frozen? That's kind of interesting. I have not noticed that before. We'll give it a sec to reboot. I'm going to actually try just unplugging HDMI, which also doesn't do anything. Capture card might have actually frozen, perhaps. Might have frozen actually on shutdown, which would make sense. Yeah, okay, there we go. So it looks like the Raspberry Pi frozen shutdown. So it's currently rebooting back up, and you can see this blank screen coming in is Chromium, is the browser, is google.com that I wrote in that file. So if I come back in here, just going to bring up the browser real quick. Oh, I closed it out. Oops. So come back here. No, that's not this block. I want Pi My Life Up. So the file that I originally edited to change the address is homepikiosk.sh. Oh, what happened? So this is the code that I copied over that I had mentioned. You can see here, google.com. I don't actually have a web page at this point built for this setup. So basically what I do from here is I will leave it up to you guys, because this is kind of now where like you get to take over and do the creative bits. Is you can host a website, you can build a website. I'll probably grab some fun stats like the weather and things like that. Maybe get statistics or Twitch statistics or YouTube statistics. I don't know. Lots of statistics. Throw them in there, and then I'll have a full thing ready to go that it'll pop this up on my screen. So I guess last steps, let's assemble it all and see what happens. And then I will leave it to you guys to create on your own. All right, so let's disconnect this HDMI. Disconnect power. Maybe go full screen with the video. And tilt this down so y'all can see what I'm doing. All right. So we're going to run power in through the back. Connect the screen, USB. This is a little tight, I will admit. Could have maybe designed the case a little better. Cool. All right, HDMI is in, USB is in. Now I can connect these both to the Raspberry Pi. And then last step, we can just screw everything in here. Oh, I guess we should plug in the Raspberry Pi to power it. Sorry for all the scraping noises. Hopefully that isn't too bad for y'all. Okay. Okay, so last step. Hopefully this pops up with no signal. That's what it said. It said no signal. I'm going to double check my connections. Okay, yes, clearly I did not plug in something correctly. Okay, so it looks like if I reverse the HDMI cable, they're not like kind of horribly pressing against. So this cable here was like pressed against this guy over here, and then it was same like over in here. So I think if I reverse that, says actually, if I reverse it, it's a better fit. Okay, so now I should be able to power cycle, unplug, replug. And this is probably going to be, no, that should be right setup for you guys. Moment of truth. Okay, that flicker. Ooh, this is feeling good. We should see that screen. Oh, come on. No signal. This is a bummer. Ooh. Still no signal. I guess we'll go to Google and see why this is happening. The article says got to edit a bunch of settings, but it just worked. Okay, so they say I need to go in SSH in and change some setting. I guess I did just, haven't actually verified. I reinstalled Raspbian on this device. So we'll switch back over to the terminal. Let's just close this out because I've managed probably to totally bork that connection at this point. All right, so edit a config.txt. Okay, so I think I actually need to power off the Raspberry Pi, take out the SD card, and insert that into my computer. Place my SD card reader somewhere, so hold on. Okay, so Raspberry Pi is connected. Okay, so it said, what did it say? This article said HDMI force hot plug. Uncomment this if HDMI is not connected. Okay, so save that. Close that. Eject that. Cool. All right, and try powering this guy on again. Moment of truth. Ho, and we are in, we are in, we are in. Hey, Jesus, welcome to the chat. How's it going? All right, so hopefully the next thing that should show up will be Google. And this will prove that we can remotely change the website that it connects to and reboot it and have it connect in this little box. Oh my gosh. Oh, this, okay, this could be big moment here. Okay. This is where we got stuck last. Oh my God. Oh God. It's going to do it. It's going to do it. Yes! Oh, that's so cool. All right. There you can see it. It's Google. It's Google. Cool, cool, cool. All right. So we can close this box back up. Oh, I've totally overlapped wires that I shouldn't have. Whoops. Okay, so let's, oh man, I made a mess of things. Okay, so let's disconnect you. There we go. Okay, cool. So now all of this should close up in this little box, and I should be able to screw it shut. And just want to double check before I actually screw it up. Yep. As you can see, it's still powering on. Awesome, 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 awesome. All right, so I think that is it for this project. Just going to connect this other diagonal screw just to be like, hey, case is on. And then we will call this complete. All right. Hopefully I flip this over and it says google.com. Love it. Awesome. So, tilt this up. We got ourselves a smart display. This is one of the cooler, I think, moments. I really love this, things like this. It's kind of when you step back and you see what you can make. Like, I feel like this whole exploration was just into, like, there's nothing really interesting about making a case. There's nothing really interesting about getting the Raspberry Pi to work. There's nothing really interesting about connecting it to a screen. But when you can be like, all right, now here's a little box, this little text box, and you can type in any web page you want on the internet. In that box, that website will load on the screen, on the thing that you've just assembled. So everything leading up to it is like, meh. But then when you put it all together, that's where the magic happens. And it's kind of like that creating, like experiencing the possibility of what you can create. And it's very cool. So I'm just tightening these last screws. Cool. And there you have it. A Raspberry Pi smart display in kiosk mode. Cool. Cool. So, that's it for this series on creating a Raspberry Pi smart display. Thank y'all for joining me. I'm going to do one quick plug for myself. Switch back over to the browser. Cool. So, for those that don't know, painlessprototyping.com. You can check out a link below in Twitch. I am running a series of free workshops on developing with CAD, writing code, and creating circuits. And it'll be running from July 7th to July 10th. July 6th to July 10th. If you go to painlessprototyping.com, you can click here to register. It's all free. We'll learn, we'll build, we'll do fun stuff together. So that's my little plug for today. And if you haven't, please follow me on Twitch, follow me on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, all the things. Love producing this stuff for you. Love to hear from you. If you have any questions, feel free to drop them wherever. I'll reply to all the things. So, thank you for joining. Until next time, I will see you all Tuesday, 6 p.m. Eastern, as we do the next steps on the 2D platter. So, adios for now.